You're listening to Ernestly Speaking, the only weekly podcast that covers friends, foes, and anything that goes. And now, for your badass host, Ernest Owens. And we're back with another episode of Ernestly Speaking with your host, Ernest Owens, myself. Well, it is a new day. It's been a couple of days, I would say, but I'm feeling much better. I wouldn't even call it a new normal because it's like we all kind of know what this felt like in 2016. So it's more just like processing and taking it day by day. It's been an interesting journey, but I feel a sense of just like resilience, not like a need to act or respond, but to just keep pushing forward and keep moving through. And I think this weekend, a lot of that, just the gala happening, which was just everything. I'm going to talk more about PBJ, our 50th anniversary gala, which was beyond just the timeliness of things make other things feel better. It was a respite, which is, a time for joy and relaxation and motivation in a way that was just very inspiring, transformative on so many different levels. But yeah, this weekend was everything. So for starters, my mom came to town, which was joyful. Initially I thought, the gala right after the election outcome was going to be favorable. So it was going to be a turn up, but it was still a turn up. Like it was very, I can't even describe it. It just feels such a very like necessary, like a lot of people were just so happy about it. So before I get into the gala, my mom came to town one Friday and we went to La Chinesca for dinner, which was really great. It's that Mexican Chinese fusion restaurant. And the food was really good. They had a new taco menu that they dropped that had like, again, that Chinese fusion, like a peckling duck quesadilla with a hoisin sauce. That was really like the most memorable thing. They had these watsu chicken tacos that really stood out. Then I had the General Tso's chicken wings, the birria tacos, queso tacos they did. But it was like a very fun, there's just a very unique menu that's like one of a kind. And you have to like be in that mindset to try it. Like otherwise, it's, you just have to, there's a certain vibe and a certain mood of that place. And when I went back and revisited, I went on a Friday night. So the last time I went was around Cinco de Mayo. It was bright outside. It was daytime. But at nighttime, it's a vibe that feels like a nice intimate date night or catching up with a good friend, and you really want to have a good conversation, but you want somewhere lively, but not so lively that you can't really be able to like have a real, grown up, vibe. So when I went, I was like, wow, this has a whole different like visualization, like when you're going to, you're going on Friday night. So yeah, for those people looking for a date night, for those looking for just a one-on-one catch up with a good friend or family or whatnot, like it was perfect. Like I thought when we were going to go that it was going to be super loud. It was going to be, like a Distrito, because it reminds me slightly of Distrito, not with the food, but like that, like I can't, like the whole atmosphere a little bit. It gives me Distrito vibes. For those in University City who remembers Distrito, RIP Distrito, but that used to be the spot. That was Jose Garza's. That was one of his gyms. He has a few left still. Whiskey Village is still kicking. Old Bar Amada. They're still kicking. They're still pushing. Maybe another one. Because a lot of them are not here no more. I think Winda Onda is still around. One of the locations at least. But man, not Steven Star, Garza's had, he's still pushing. He's still staying resilient. But we went there the night before. Oh, so right after that, we went to get drinks at a cocktail bar, brand new cocktail bar. There's a place called Bottled. So you've seen these locations like BOTLD, Bottled, and they're located all across Philadelphia. But the one in Midtown is called Bottled Midtown, BOTLD. That's how you spell it. Bottled Midtown, like right in the neighborhood, like right there by Van Lauren's ice cream shop, like right in that intersection across from where Elvez is. On the other side is right connected, right in that little quiet, squeaky, quiet side, the more quieter side. But it's located right there, and they now have a cocktail bar. Like it has this very speakeasy vibe, very elegant, very slick, very intimate, very relaxed, but it's like a cocktail bar in there where they make their cocktails with their selected liquors that they sell. And it's a liquor store. It's like a bottle shop, like a liquor store, like a really nice boutique liquor store / cocktail bar. But to be clear, the liquor they sell, they're not selling like liquor that is like mainstream commercial. So you're not getting Tito's handmade vodka there. You're getting local brands and specialty brands that are local. And the liquor that they use to make their cocktails is coming from those liquors. So if you like a certain gin or you like a certain vodka that's in your cocktail that you like, it's complemented with those liquors. So that's the pairing and that's the logic behind it. So it was really good. Really, really was like, I will definitely circle the block and go back. And this is the first one they have. So if you're like, oh, I know a bottle, there's a bottle near my house, there's another bottle I know. None of them have the cocktail bar. This is the only location on Midtown that's on like 13th that has this. And this is brand new. So if you used to go and you're like, wait a minute, when I went there, all they served was bottles, they renovated the whole place. And it looks so different from what it used to look like. And you could walk in, get your bottles, do your thing. So I was really impressed. And my mom was getting her life. She was getting her whole life. Let me back up a little bit before I talk about the gala, because the gala deserves its own thing. Thursday night, the Lip Brothers and I went to Whiskey Fest. We went with a couple of our good Judies, of course. It was, Philadelphia Magazine's Whiskey Fest. Who was there? I mean, of course, George, Josh, Jamarcus, Mr. Johnson, of course, he loves whiskey. My good girl, Sharon. We all had a good time. This was like Thursday before my mom came. She came in Friday. And we just need to go out. And we did. We just said, we're going to get out that. I mean, Wednesday, of course, as you all know, was like, I was just in the house. I popped my shit, talked my shit. Because I had some things I had to get off my chest. And then I had to process, take some days to really process. And we're going to unpack and have some brutal truths. Because, y'all been listening to this podcast. This podcast has exponentially climbed the charts these past couple of days. Listen, we welcome new subscribers, new listeners, people who wanna understand Philly. I got some things to say. I've been saying some things already, but I'm gonna, this podcast, this episode, we're gonna unpack this episode. So, I love Whiskey Fest. People are coming out, and it was just, to get people to show up to go out to events, especially these next couple of weeks, but especially these days, was a Herculean task. The Philly Mag team, they had a nice show. They had a nice showing, because a lot of people bought tickets, but some people just didn't want to go out. And that was a theme. A lot of people, like I had canceled some events that I was invited to these couple of days, because I just, but they were not major events, but they were like the tastings and things. I was just like, I have to reschedule. I just didn't feel like getting out. I just didn't want to. I just want to be around people, certain people. You know what I mean? Like, because you looking like, who gonna say something that's gonna be weird? Somebody gonna show themselves, and I'm not gonna be in the space to process. So I was very selective about where I wanted to be. I knew Philly Mag was a safe space, Whiskey Fest, which is attended by a lot of black people. I don't know what people be thinking about Philly Mag or whatever, but Whiskey Fest is a very diverse event. I will say that. It is the event. People want to go out and get a sip and do their thing and do their big one. And it is But no, people needed some people who went out wanted their whiskey. They definitely want their whiskey. And I had some little bit of fun, like, when there were certain little pockets of folks, I was looking at certain folks or whatever like that. And I was looking at certain folks and I was just like, you think they won the ones? I was like doing my little, you think they won, you think they voted, No, but but we'll be like that. Listen, we'll be like all of them. And if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. Unless we know certain people directly. Where it's like, if you wasn't talking to me and engaging with me before this, afterwards, I'm gonna keep it cute. I'm gonna keep it light. Some, folks, because we know who showed up and who didn't. And don't come over here now talking all that rah for real, because this is people would just be showing their whole ass. But no, Whiskey Fest was fun. It was just nice for us all to be together. And we got together on Sunday. We had a nice brunch, White Dog Cafe. That's just my standard go-to brunch spot. White Dog just do it for me. White Dog in University City. It's like my comfort zone when I just want something that I know is going to snap and going to hit. Sometimes you get too experimental sometimes. And you're just like, okay, I just want something just done well. And like White Dog Cafe just knows it. I just need to have a Sunday, just a nice debrief after the epicness of Saturday night. And now we can get into Saturday night. Oh, my goodness. The gala, the PABJ Gala, the 50th anniversary gala was a masterpiece. It was a masterpiece. First of all, the glamour, we had the glamour. We had all of that, right? Just the elevation of the event. For those who have gone over the years, this is the most decorative, the most exuberant, most elaborate event we have ever produced. I mean, it was grand scale. We had a great MC. We had Don Bell from CBS 3. Shout out to Don Bell at CBS 3. Like, he was incredible. Shout out to CBS 3, one of our top sponsor. We had a star-studded lineup. All of the honorees came, which was a godsend because, again, a lot of people canceled out because they just wasn't ready to go outside. And I understand because, if it would have been me, I don't know. I think for this particular event, for me, I showed up for this. I don't know if I would have went to another gala that wasn't rooted in this. But everybody, there are certain people who are going to come out of town, but I think some people are just like, look, I just need some time to process. I can't emotionally get myself up to go. But we were happy with the people who did show up, people who bought tickets and just was like, donated to a student, donated to somebody who can't afford to go. It was a lot of people that, tried to donate their tickets the last minute. And of course, we were trying to find folks because everybody and their mother was trying to get in. But I get it. I definitely get it. It is an event. It is, the timing of it for some people were just not ready to come outside. Of course, I was ready to come outside, at least for this. I'm not ready to go out to everything. I'm like, kind of like, because, when you go to certain public events, it's public, meaning that you're going to hear all types of things. Am I prepared to hear certain things from certain people? I went to my barber shop to get my hair cut and I realized I was not ready. Um, but I have to get my hair cut. But woo, some people in that room, I was just like, it was the shortest it was the shortest barbershop trip. I was like, no, you know, I don't, I'm not, I don't, I just was like, I'm not trying to have that conversation. Sometimes at this point, which I don't, look, I'm all over the place, but at this point, and I'll say this before getting back to the gala, because I do want to really unpack this, but I do want to say this though. For some people that voted for him, didn't vote, didn't care, didn't like, VP Harris, all of that, okay. What is there to say? What you want? You want some attention? Did you want to see people cry? Did you want to see people, get angry in front of you? It's not happening. I'm not giving it to you. You got what you wanted. Now you can just not now you can sit there. Playtime is over. Go find the other people that's hiding in shame of what their decision is. Or go link up with them and go have the conversation. But like I really had that moment, like, for several months, of course, I was going to my barbershop and, it's a mixed crowd. You got the people that don't vote, the ones that just talk conspiracy stuff. To be clear, not everybody in the shop is like this, but there's a couple of folks, right? And they're regulars and they love to be in conversation. But when I went to get my haircut, Thursday afternoon, because there was no city council, so I got my hair and my nails done that day. Um, there was a like a neutral silence in most of the room. People just was not here for it. Like nobody wants to. And of course, there's always those one or three people that want to like engage and discuss. It's like, no, there's nothing to argue and say about. You got what you want. Now, go get that Trump check that you think you're gonna get, boo boo. And see, now we get to the part where you just be quiet. We just gonna keep this cute before you get your feelings hurt. Because if you ever thought I was uncensored prior to this, oh, I'm gonna be more uncensored now. But I'm trying not to go there because it's just like, what's the point? But some people, what I really want to say is I will be fine because 9 times out of 10 people in my tax bracket and my situation and my connections, we typically find community and we are resourced in a certain way that naturally we won't really be burned as much. But some of you all who don't have not one damn iota of common sense or connection or education or support, you will be royally fucked. I have a lawyer that works not just for myself, but for any resource I need to support my family, my community, my group. I'm resourced and educated, and so are my friends and my family, that we will make sure we safeguard ourselves from some of the bullshit that will transpire in these next couple of years. That I do know. I'm privileged and fortunate in that way, but I worked my ass hard enough to be able to be in a position of resourcefulness to help, right? But my heart goes out to people that that aren't going to have those resources, that worked their asses off, that did what they could to change the outcome of this election. My empathy goes for those individuals. But trapped in the middle are some dumbass motherfuckers that have fucked around and they're going to find out. And those individuals, God will, Godspeed, whatever, because it's a choice, and you want to make a choice, and you did something to be funny. You clicked that red button thinking that you was making that you wanted to piss people off. You cut your nose and spite your face, and you will have to sit with that. Good luck, babe, as Ron Chappelle once said. Good luck, babe, because that's what we're dealing with. And there's some people that's gonna find out. But I have made it a point this cycle, because the fool me once, fool me twice, we ain't gonna shame on me. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't care. I don't care. And I mean that. Like, people who made that decision, I don't care. Don't tell me you're shocked. The man said everything he was going to do. The man, you know who he is. You're not shocked. When you get fucked over and when it comes and it happens and you walk away broker than you already were, poorer than you already were, and you don't even have the other general resources. You can't afford the other things. There you go. Some of us was already making strategic moves, diversifying our streams of income, putting ourselves in more consistent, more permanent placements and opportunities, securing the bags, investing in that savings account. There was a lot of us that was already making strategic moves long before determining what this outcome was going to be. If you pay attention to certain celebrities that was selling their masters, certain folks was doing more commercials. Some people was selling more things. Some people was getting more cash. If you pay attention to how people was moving during this economic shift, people was not sure how things was going to be, but they were making moves in anyway. There are certain moves that I was personally making that was shaped by, making sure, because it's going to be interesting. I mean, journalism, the way that the industry is going to be, held into a certain account. It's going to be a very interesting 4 years and a lot. But again, what keeps me confident, motivated, and relieved is knowing that I have a tribe of very intelligent folks, resource people, connected people that will make a way. And we will protect each other, support each other, empower each other, and push each other through. And so that I'm blessed with. And for people who was not invested in building community and being in their communities and building a support system and a refuge and a respite, for people who was not invested in creating that, good luck, babe. Because it's going to be harder for you to try to co-opt and enter in certain spaces at this point, because folks are definitely going to be gatekeeping in the ways in which to protect tribe. Like you just can't Rachel Dozel your ass up in here. Not this time. See, 2016, all that, 2020, everybody was doing all that. This is the era where folks are really going to be intentional about it. And they're very going to be mindful and very demure about who was prior, because there's no new entries. Because the betrayal and the bullshit that really shifted people's perspective and focus. And so there is a level of reflection that needs to take place. And that makes all the difference. So I tell people it was, yeah. So this gala, it did so much more than what I could have imagined. I mean, just from the start, let's talk about the venue. The Penn Museum was fabulous. The decor, the decorations, the vibe. It was just a good old time. It was a good old time. It was just a good time. And it was just like a necessary time, a powerful time. People wanted to come together. People wanted to be together. People just wanted to be in kinship with one another. And it felt like family. It felt like a repast at certain points where you felt like people came after a funeral. I wouldn't say it was a repast for democracy, but there was definitely this sense of people just showing up. And I'm so grateful for everyone that showed up last night. Not last night, this past weekend. This episode's on a Monday. But I'm so grateful for those who showed up on Saturday night, those who did come, those who put on their best. We looked the best as a crowd. I guess everybody understood the assignment, because I had told people before the election, I was like, telling everybody, come through, don't, come through. Don't embarrass me. Dress up, you know. Um, make sure you show up. Make sure you do your thing. Because I told people that this was a night to remember, and how much of a night it was to remember in ways that words cannot even describe. It was truly a night to remember on so many different fronts, and I was just so elated by the level of joy, and just people that just said they're coming together for a night like this. Because listen, I get it. For those who couldn't come, who just wasn't up there, I get it. And I'm not at all mad or upset or anything. Because it's just like, you know, I was like, oh man, I miss this person. But to those who did come out and put on your best, got your face beat, got your hair cut, you know, went on that carpet and all that. Just thank you. I'm just so grateful. My girl Candace was there, Alana. I'm just thinking about some people that just always is present. Chris Bartlett, of course, my board and my team, but just certain people who just showed up and really came through. So that I was very happy about. Um, Before I get to the side more, let me get some superficial. The food was the best it has ever been. And that's a tough one because look, every gala I try to do a good caterer, a good food. So for those who remember, my wedding was the Penn Museum. And so it was nostalgic for me. It was nostalgic for both us. I mean, Mr. Johnson, a lot of my friends, oh my God, Amanda Joe was there, of course, the Lip Brothers, my friend Lauren, Sharon, my mom, we was just walking through, they were just like, I remember up here. I said, listen, every time we on this floor, it's something legendary going on. It was legendary. It was just so well put together. Um I really, really loved the whole ambiance. The food was on point. See, I surprised people this year. So last year at the cocktail hour, we had like heavy hors d'oeuvres. They had the hors d'oeuvres at the bar. And then the second portion of the night, there was a more heavier buffet dinner energy. Short rib with polenta. We had salmon and oh my God, Brussels sprout. It was a very gourmet-esque dinner that was different from anything we've done in the past. Like in the past, we would always kind of keep it, a little cute. But this time we really showed out. We showed up and showed out this year. Like this year, we really did our big one. So just wanted to put that out there. We really did a number this year when it came to the food. And the bars were great. I mean, we had bars all over the place, great cocktails. I mean, no one could say they didn't get their drink on. And we did everything much longer. This event this year was from 6 to 11. So from 6 to 7:30 was the cocktail. We had a 90-minute cocktail hour, which everyone appreciated because folks will just come late. And I was just like, if I do everything from 6 to 7:30, then that allows us to start the event at a time. Because it used to be like a 7 and we do 7 to 8 and all. And I just like, no, let's move it a little earlier and then let's like tighten our thing. So we had a 90-minute cocktail hour. That was fabulous. Then the actual reception dinner portion awards was from like 7:30-ish to 9. And then 9 to 11 was the party and the food and the dinner. And it was so great because after that event, that ceremony, the party kept going. People kept eating. People kept vibing. People kept drinking. It was just such an epic event. And yeah, I'm still processing just how great the execution was. Shout out to my girl, Brittany Coleman, who's just the GOAT of event planning and the team and everybody that pulled that together. My goodness. It was just the execution of it all was magical, just magical. So I just wanted to take some time to say that. But the event itself, the ceremony portion, oh goodness. Senator Anthony Hardy Williams presented a citation from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, acknowledging from the Senate, from the Pennsylvania Senate, acknowledging the 50 years of the Philadelphia Association of Black Journalists, acknowledging our history, our legacy, and our prestige. And not only that, but he gives this speech and he just really gives me the nicest, grandest compliment that I probably have never heard from an elected official, in that magnitude and that stature in a public space. Um, and that was touching. And yeah, that just is one of those you had to be there. Somebody filmed it, I know. I wasn't prepared for that. And yeah, he was just a class act. Definitely my favorite state senator. I like you too, Vincent Hughes. But Anthony Hardy Williams, you're one of one, sir. You're one of one. Um, I got up on stage, I popped my shit. Cause I had to. I said, well, since we're all here and I look good. Oh, I did look good, by the way. I must say. Look, people, y'all are just been fluttering me like, oh, you look good, you look. I'm like, listen, don't do all that. Okay. I look good, 65 pounds heavier, 65 pounds light. I still listen. I'm Oprah. I yo. So I guess I'm on the slimmer, and me and Oprah is on our slim era, but me and my good Judy, I teased. I said we yo because there was times we was on the heavier side, but people just cannot help but just I appreciate it. It is moments where I'm like, so what you thought before? But no, people are so nice. I mean, everyone's like, just like I've definitely have glowed up. I guess that's what the kids say. But no, I think about where we were a year ago um, where we were a year ago, and being able to be on that stage and look at that crowd and be able to say, we had great supporters and great sponsors, more family, a team, resources, a bigger venue, strong honorees, icons. I look better. I don't look like what I've gone through. To come back a year later after everything that went down last year, and to come back looking better, brighter, stronger, the organization bigger, better, stronger. That's the type of resilience and the triumph. And to be able to be in that room with a crowd, because there were some people in there, some folks that was a part of that other group. And I was just so happy just for a little glimmer to be able to look in that room in that crowd and see some of those people. And for them to come, circle, they want to spin the block. You couldn't help yourself. You had to spin the block. You couldn't help yourself but to be there. But let me tell you, I might have not been a nice girl. One of them, the individuals, who was, play both sides, at the event came up, I was, they came in the room trying to, do their thing. They went up to different people, was hugging them and talking and doing all that. And they came over to me and they was trying to get a hug. And I said, yeah, I had a smile with a hand that was like, no. But with a whole smile, with a glamorous, like, pageant face smile, but was like, no. And it was so uncomfortable about it. It was like, oh, you don't do it? No. You should, no. Like, that energy. It was, for me, it was more like, was I taken aback? No. Because I think certain people want to do you any type of way and never have to sit in discomfort. And I'm sorry. I have boundaries now. I've always had boundaries, but my boundaries used to be a little loose, a little loose. But now, in this time, in this era, the timeliness could have not been more. I refuse to let anybody play in my face. And we'll talk more about that later in this episode, because I know what y'all want to talk. I know what y'all here for. I'm no fool. I know what y'all here for. We're going to talk about that. We are. Don't worry. It's coming very soon. But I just am not letting people play in my face anymore. I don't need to. I don't have to. And In that situation with some of those people that was there, I just didn't give them the time nor place because I already know where you stand. But you're here again because you always going to be here. You're never going to miss a gala. See, you like to be in the mix. You can't not play both sides. But I want to be real with you that anybody can buy a ticket for now. But not everybody can play in my face. Nobody can play in my face anymore. So welcome, enjoy yourself, but we're not going to do all that other stuff. We're not doing all that because you don't get the luxury to act this way, play in my face this way, say all the things, do all the things, and then turn around and go, oh, because that's what people do. They buy time. They say, oh, I'll just go away for a little bit, and then people will forget and get sudden amnesia, forget. And then, when things are great, then I'll come then. No. If you wasn't there through the dark times, you don't get to be there during the sun time. Keep your mercurial ass somewhere else. And so I definitely, me a year ago would have been all right, my head in. At this point, some of y'all gonna have to realize that black queer people are not gonna always be the bigger person. We're just gonna be a person. I'm not gonna say we're the smaller person or the little person because our feelings are legitimate. We're just going to be a person. And sometimes a person has nuance, right? They have the right to be pissed off. They have the right to set boundaries and to be a human. So no, I wasn't the bigger person. I just chose to be a human that day, that moment. And a human is being realistic about how you really feel. The bigger person is a facade. Like sometimes we choose to be the bigger person. We choose to put on an act, but I think I've been big for enough. I'm going to have to slim down a little bit. So I chose literally and figuratively. So I've chose to be a human in that moment. And when this person went up and tried, and my friends was around too. So if it was, but they was like, I think in that moment they were trying to basically coddle something. I was like, you will not get this. You will not get this public display. You will not hug me in a room of my peers so that other people in that room can think that there has been a compromise or that there has been an understanding or agreement. No, there has not. Until you do right by me, until you give me a respectful apology, you will not get anything. Oh, that's the part I forgot. Apologies. See, I don't move on until I get an apology. I don't move on from anything until I get a rightful acknowledgement of wrongdoing. See, that's the thing that people like to do. And see, that's how people repeat history. Because if you don't hold them into a position and a placement, you don't get to do that. You don't get to play in my face. You don't get to say you did this thing. No, you do not. So when she came by, I said, hello, how are you? And then she tried to do the, look at me about to talk, try to do the hug where I was like, no, no, I'm good. And then tried to do it again. Like I said, no. I want to make it very clear. I said no. No means no, baby. And I said that. My people know, folks that was on the trenches. Y'all remember last year because you see the room. You see who's in the room. You see came back to the room. You see some people that was in that room, baby, that was like, oh, you remember your way. You remember about PABJ. You recognize why we do what we do and how we do what we do. You see where the people want to be. You see the acknowledgement of what people have chosen. The people have spoken very loud and very clear which organization that they acknowledge, which organization that they want to be affiliated with, which organization that is the cities. The Philadelphia Association of Black Journalists is an independent Black journalism advocacy organization in the heart of Philadelphia. We don't serve anyone else but this community. We don't belong to anyone else but this community. This is ours. And in many ways, our founders never really wanted us to be a part of any other groups, to be honest. But some of them went off to create another group. But I think a lot of them, the origins, actually always wanted us to go back to our own independence in this state that we're currently in. So it's interesting to me that on the 50th anniversary, we got back to independence as our own entity. And I feel like that was divine intervention. But let me get into these speeches. These are probably the best speeches ever. And I think what it was is that people came, you got to set a tone. And I'm going to give myself some credit for that. I did the opening remarks as president. And I think what I said opened the doors and set the tone for people to really feel comfortable, to realize, okay, tonight we're doing it tonight, right? And so the speeches that people gave were just the most timely, most compassionate, most thoughtful, most elegant, most eloquent award speeches I have ever seen assembled in my life. Like everybody just understood the room, understood the moment, understood the momentum, and it was so empowering, heartfelt, thoughtful. And I tell people that, to be honest, what we do in that room and that space is what sells, makes everything worth it. Like the food, the glamour, the all of that's great, but it's what happens in that room. To have those people in that room and to share their stories and to tell their history and the timeliness of it all, that we had a Hall of Fame. And that these are people who've been in the industry for decades. These are icons. It was, I joked to people and said that this felt like the Legends Ball, like Oprah's Legends Ball. And I said when I was working with my event producers, they were like, what is the vision this year? What do you want to do this year? Like, what's the theme? What's the vibe? So I wanted to feel like I want the Legends Ball. Like every year has a theme. Like there's years where I was like, look, I want to be the Golden Globes. Like I want a Golden Globes energy where everybody's at a table. There's humor, there's laughter. Every year, I like go for a theme. Like I go for Oscars. I like, do I want an Oscars energy? Do I want a Golden Globes energy? But like different themes. And this year, this just felt like the Legends Ball. Like I just always have a theme. Now next year might be the Source Awards or the BET Awards. I'm trying to figure out what theme. I'm trying to figure out what theme I want. I think next year might be NAACP Awards. I don't know. But I always have a mental theme of like what I want the event to feel like and look like. And this year, it was a Legends Ball. Last year was the Oscars. Like I felt like it was like an Oscars energy last year. The year before that was the Quorum Lounge. That had a Golden Globes energy. Like we did the Golden Globes energy, like the tables and stuff. So I always have like a theme. This year's theme was Legends Ball by Oprah, if you all want to know. That was what inspired the concept and the vibe this year. Next year, I'm thinking about different themes. I'm gonna rummage on it. I mean, the Grammys is always a good time. We're gonna figure out what the theme, and we don't decorate the things with the awards, but it's just a certain type of like decoration, decor, energy that drives it. So I got a chance to really, have a good time and set the tone and bring people together, but also let people understand, this was a night where we told people to set ourselves seriously. That was something that was important to me. And that was powerful. So yeah. So I'm gonna really amplify and let people know that this was just, I'm just speechless. I mean, last night was just, Saturday night. Saturday night was just a lot in a lot of ways. But the speeches are Hall of Famers, all of them. Sarah M. Lomax, Barbara Grant, Yuki Washington, Miss Patty Jackson, Renee Chanel Fatah. I had 5 of the most pivotal, pioneering, iconic Black journalists in the region in one room. Like, I have never seen the 5 of them in the same room being honored at the same time. I don't think anybody has. And I knew when I had them, and they were sitting in that front row, that this event was going to be a triumph because it's like doing a math equation where you set up all your stuff right, you did your right stuff, and you know you're gonna have the right answer because you did everything on the back end. But when I had them locked in, I knew hella hay water that this was gonna work. This was gonna persevere no matter the strength because people showed up for them and they were Hall of Famers and people really just took them all in. It was a night to remember. Shari Williams from 6ABC, won Journalist of the Year, and she gave a great speech. Nicole Cashman, Michelle Conroy from Cashman Associates were fabulous. Delilah Wilson Scott, the VP of Diversity and Inclusion at Comcast, she was just riveting. We gave not one, but two $5,000 scholarships to two outstanding young Black men who were more than deserving, stellar. And it was so funny that when I was sitting there, they was just like, my friends like, oh, that they was naming one of the students, and they were like, oh, that's like a future an Ernest in the making. And then they heard the other one. I said, no, both of them. These are my children right here. They're signed to Parkwood, records. That's my Chloe and Haley, Dean and Nathan. They both won the two honorees. I said that's my Chloe and Haley. They signed to Parkwood. Those my two artists. But they're incredible young Black journalistic voices. One goes to Villanova. Dean is the first Black president, student body president of Villanova. Okay, that kid is crushing it. The other one is at Temple. It worked as a correspondent intern with Joy Reid, the readout for Joy Reid. I mean, just incredible. They're both exceptional, and to see them win, okay, some real scholarship money, $5,000, okay, a piece. That's some real money because sometimes people, give scholarships and listen, we come a long way, but 5,000 a piece, okay. We like when we give scholarships. We got the CBS 3 scholarship that we do, a Trudy Haynes scholarship that we do in collaboration with CBS 3 PAWJ do, and that's a $10,000 scholarship that we do every year. But we don't play. We pour into these kids. We do. Because I know student debt and college debt and all that. I think about my friends who talk about, I said, I was like, my team, we got a fundraise. That's what our scholarship event was about. When some of y'all went to the scholarship fundraiser we did this summer, we raised money so that we can do that. That's some real money because look, the little $500, child, you can't do nothing with that anymore. I mean, you can buy some school supplies or something, but $5,000, you should be able to do something with that. In this economy, you should still be able to do something with $5,000. So I heard from the block that, my brother was there, my younger brother who's a senior at Temple. I was like, "It's 5,000 good?" He said, "Mm-hmm." I said, "Okay." He said, "Yeah, that's not mid at all." I said, "It's not mid at all. It's large." But but it was just so great to hear their speeches. It was so great to just be in that power. It was just so great for us to just recharge and recenter and reconnect. It was like a family reunion of sorts. It was like we all came together. We experienced the hardship and we came together and we supported each other through and we rejoiced and we reconnected. And it was so empowering. We were there with not allies, but comrades and accomplices. And we were really together and strengthened by that. I just think about Kathy. Both, I think about Kathy Giroux, my Kellys, both Kellys, the Kelly that was there, the Kelly who wasn't that supported. And I want to thank both Kellys, Kelly Frank, Kelly Mirbach, who's just always awesome, her and her husband, who were big donors and supporters of this year's gala. They weren't in person this year, but they made a big contribution to support what we do. And I just think about all the people. And I made a joke while I was on stage. I was like, they're not the 55%. They're in that 45%. And people was laughing because they knew what I was talking about. But I believe it. I know they weren't in that 55%. I know they vote the right way. But I made that joke and people was laughing. I was like, look, listen, we're not even gonna put the skeleton in the closet. But I'm just feel like it was just so empowering and just encouraging, just a reminder that you just keep going. And that people, how many, you know what it was? It's just for me on a personal level, I do this work often with very, very, very intimately and very much focused. I really can't really read the hype or engage with the larger public as much with a lot of the work that I do. So when I'm in my work, when I'm writing, when I'm doing my interviews, I work with a very small team of editors, of course, my lawyer, my team, that, make sure my stuff come out, all that. I don't really, like, I work for myself, but I work with, not for. So what I mean by that is like, I'm not in a traditional newsroom. So most of my interactions with editors nationally is through emails, through group chat, through, you know, all the different apps. Like I'm DMing and messaging. I don't have that much in-person interaction with a newsroom. So while some people go to their newsrooms, there's 40, 30 something co-workers and staff, they interact with people. They oftentimes go out, they read the comment section. They're very much engaged with people on a regular basis, the public, where people tell you how they think about your work or what they feel. I personally, for my own like safety and mental health, for many years, I do not really engage with too much outside because that allows me to focus on the work, stay focused, not distracted. Because there's a lot of crazies out there. There's a lot of nonsense. And so I've been, in so many ways, I've set respectful boundaries around, working with my folks or whatever. So in many ways, I don't oftentimes have a realistic scope of how much my work means or is impactful to the public. How I know is this through numbers. So, it was funny because at the gala, Manny was bringing up like traffic, how I bring traffic. I get the views, I get the click. So I know numerically my impact. Like, my numbers don't lie. Thousands upon thousands of people will read my content, engage my content on a daily basis. I know that by the reach of my work. So whether it's posts on social media, articles, podcast, all of this stuff, I know my reach by numbers. But to be able to hear and feel people share how it touches them, and people who really hold what I do to a level of esteem and revere, that I think is the most touching part. And it's like, I'm not Taylor Swifting it when I'm just like, oh, really? I know in my heart that I make an impact, but it's just something about other people conveying that and saying that's outside of my circle. Because to be honest, I do this work because I know it's the right thing. I do this work to honor my family and my, and my friends, because let them know, I was raised right. But I never really consider so much of the validation or the praise or the acknowledgement of the outside public, because as somebody who's been in the spotlight for quite some time, people are very wishy-washy and mercurial. And so you just never know. Like, you could be doing something, and you got to understand where I come from. Like, when I started in this business, I was speaking truth to power when it wasn't fashionable for people who look like me, my age, and doing what I was doing in this city. And so a lot of people used to give it a negative tinge. And even in my college years, like I was always popping my shit and talking my talk. And it wasn't necessarily favorable because it made folks, the powers that be, uncomfortable. So I never used to care about what the public thought or used to judge it based off of the public, because there was always a sense to me that the outcome was that they wasn't going to get it, or they was just haters in the midst or whatever. But what I've realized through time, and even moments like that night, is that there is a large swath of people that truly do, really, really do respect the work of journalists, really do admire the people like myself and the Yukis and the Patties. And a lot of journalists, I think a lot of us that do the work for real, not these bloggers and these we'll get to them, but people who really do respect and acknowledge the work that we do and really do value it. Like really do value it. They stay to it. And so I will say in these past couple of days, it's been a blessing and it's been empowering and reassuring that they're to just know the reach, like the reach beyond the reach. Like I know my network, but it's always touching when it's people who I've never met, never gave a hug to, never engaged with, that tells me what this work means to them. Whether it's a social media post, whether it's an article I just wrote, whether it's the podcast episode that I do, whatever it is, however the book, like there's people that just message me. There was somebody who messaged me in South America that told me they read my book. And I was like, I mean, it's like, I sometimes, I'll be like, oh, I'm international with, but like to hear, like for somebody to just tell me this, and found me on Instagram and DM me on Instagram, it was just like, those are the moments. And so, yeah, it just felt empowering and motivating to keep doing the work. I'm not giving up. I'm not throwing away my shot. I feel even more emboldened, more inspired to keep going. And I am going to say something. The second book, the second book, we're ready. I know where I'm going. I had to wait for this. Couldn't tell y'all this, but I'm gonna tell you this now. I had to wait for the outcome of this election to figure out if the thesis of my book could still work. And ironically enough, these election results confirms the thesis even more. And so this book is ready. This book is coming. We're in a pre-production mode, but we have to wait for once this election changes a certain direction. I can tell you a couple of things. So the book was holding on to its thesis. I did some proposal work in the summer. When Biden dropped out, that changed everything. So we had to put everything on pause to see how it was going to play out. There was a part of me that I will say that based on the thesis that I have for this upcoming book, I know y'all like, why are you doing this to us? I know, I'm sorry, I love y'all, but don't worry. More details are coming in the months to come. Hold on. Next year, y'all will know something next year. 2025, baby. We'll get there. We're so close, but we had to wait for these election results. These election results, single-handedly, this book is about to slay. This book is about to slay. I will say that. I am passionate about it. Like I am recharged. I can't tell you how ready I am to work on B2. Because B2, woo, if you thought B1 was fun, B1 was an appetizer. B2 is a main fucking course. They say an artist, is hitting it when they do their sophomore album, right? We think about some of our favorite sophomore albums. This is the B-Day, baby. This is B-Day. And after B-Day, it don't get no better than, listen, it only goes up from there. This is B-Day. This is Stankonia, okay? For those who are Outkast fans, y'all know what I mean, okay? This is that album, okay? We know a lot of artists who had great second albums. That second album was the album. This is the Oops, I Did It Again. Okay? Y'all thought Hit Me Baby One More Time was it, but it was Oops, I Did It Again, baby. That was the one, honey. It was the Evolution by Sierra. That was the one. Okay? I'm just saying, there's this that second album, it was 21 for me, Adele. This is my 21, baby. This the one. This second one, B2, this is the one. Because the case for cancel culture was a warning. It was a warning. It was a moment. It was ahead of its time. Because a lot of you all, if you go back and you read this book, if you read that book, a lot of what I talked about was preparing us for a time like this. And people was not ready because people was having these debates about cancel culture. People was like, oh, we can't cancel people. This is radical. This is this. And y'all want to cancel people now? Now the book ain't that polarizing, is it now? Now y'all ready to cancel people. Y'all don't want to do it no more. Y'all tired, right? Y'all ready to cancel some folks. So I just want to say that. I just got to say that we going to have a good old time. We going to write it out, we going to work it out, we going to power it out, we going to shake it off, we going to take it off. We going to do the damn thing. I'm excited. You know, my agent and I, my book agent and I, we're going to be having some meetings this upcoming week to start re-engineering and gearing up and preparing and tightening up this proposal. We got I'm going to different, I got the same thesis, but we're going to do a reshaping because this couldn't have come at a better time. And again, just these past years, how fortunate I am, how blessed I am that I had myself set up in a position to be ready. You know, I think about, you know, my frat brother, Governor Wes Moore, how I was looking at the video he did earlier this week, talk about, you know, we was prepared for any outcome. I'm just like, well, first of all, alphas are always prepared, but we were prepared for every outcome is what he's saying, and that stuck with me. And that is how I feel right now. We were prepared for every outcome. And so I'm just fortunate that I have the resources, the teams in place so I can be able to magnify and amplify my voice in the work that I do to continue to do it. That I'm a part of a Black-owned radio station like WRD, right? 96.1 FM, 900 AM, progressive Black talk media. Shout out. I'm happy that I'm a part of a team like that we are gonna be in a good place. I'm happy that I'm protected by powerful elected officials that do the real work in this state, in this commonwealth, that I have a great legal team, that I got great folks that make sure that I'm going to be all right, that my family's going to be all right, my friends, that everybody's going to be okay. Like, lean into that. Like gratitude, which I've been preaching long before this, but lean into gratitude this season. Lean into gratitude. Lean into gratitude. Do not doom scroll. Do not be in despair. Lean into gratitude to tell yourself, to the people, the educated people, the smart folks, the folks that gave a damn, that we have community, that we have each other, that our ancestors and those before us that navigated much, much more crazier terrain. And this right here, this too shall pass. And that is what drives me. That is what reminds me. That's what keeps me sane and whole and just all of the things. You know, we had a brunch, you know, my girl Nina, just always a pleasure to see Nina. Always a pleasure to see her. She came down, you know, from New York, you know, to be here with us Philly people. Well, this is her home, but she calls me the king of Philly, you know, the mayor of Philly, you know. I still hold that title, you know, because we got a queen in Philly now. So where's the king? The king is here. The champ is here. But I'm just so grateful. Just so grateful for the love, for everybody who just showed up, who gave love, who just did their big ones. Just all the love in the world to you all. So yeah, thank you. I did a little too much. I told y'all a little too much. I know my birthday. I didn't name the title. I didn't name the topic. I just said something's coming. You know, they'll forget. They won't remember this. They won't remember this. But something is coming. It's the work. I'm ready for the work. I'm ready to do the work. So let's get into it. So election, hot topics, updates. You know, listen, the House race is still up in the air. We do not know if the Democrats are going to take control of the House or the Republicans. It's leaning slightly Republican, but nothing is guaranteed. There's still some races. They need to have 218 to have the majority, each party. And not each party is not yet reclaimed. But I know the Democrats are reclaiming some seats, flipping some seats in New York. So there are some opportunities right now to see them do it. Now, why does this matter? If the Democrats can take back the House, then that will really give Trump a hard time. Now, I'll tell you with Senate stuff, you know, one just got to hope. I mean, well, shit, he's there for 4 years. So he will, you know, we'll see. I mean, we'll see how the Senate will work, you know, and during the midterms, how that will play out, because different seats will be up for grabs. But what I will say is that, I mean, Trump will get to do executive orders, but I just want people to remember that people say, well, why Biden couldn't get a lot of things done, right? He have the White House. He did have the White House, but that's why checks and balances matter, right? Supreme Court is definitely going to show their ass, but they've been showing their ass. That's why Biden couldn't do certain things, because under a Biden administration, the Supreme Court had those majorities in the Supreme Court, so Biden couldn't do certain things, right? So there are checks and balances to some degree, but the House, if you can't get nothing passed through the House, it can't reach the Senate. The Senate is the group that takes it to the next level. And so House is powerful. If we can have a Democratic House, that's going to block a lot of Republican shit, which means the Senate is only going to be important for several things. They're going to be able to still appoint certain federal folks in committee and leaders like that. They will have the power to approve those committee chairmanships and things of that nature. But in the House, all of those chairmanships, including the Speaker of the House, will be Hakeem Jeffries, and we will have Democratic control over those major committees because we'll have the majority in the House. There's going to be power there. The Senate, we don't have. The Republicans have that, and they have a nice majority. But things will definitely change on that front. So I'm just optimistic. I'm hopeful. I mean, but look, we prepare for the worst, child. I mean, it's going to be what's going to be. But if the Democrats can squeak out that House majority, that will definitely put some block and some buffer. And Trump's going to have maybe 2 years, a little bit of 2 years. But that midterm, baby, that midterm, we know 2026 is going to be here faster than ever. And look, Trump got 2 years to do his big one, to try. But it's going to be a very interesting period, because it could just be a bunch of chaos to the point where he ain't going to be able to get shit. He won't be able to get shit done or really get much. I mean, he'll get some things. He's going to do some things. Let's be very clear. This man is not going to just get away scot-free. But he will do some things. But the massive scope and scale of what he do, that might be up in the air based on midterm. Because by then, y'all got to remember, this man, this is his final term. He's in a lame duck mode. There will be a new president of the United States in 2028. And don't y'all say, let's hope. We're not doing that. We're going to hold this country accountable to something democratic. There will be no third terms for this man. This man will have what he has. Okay? He will. He definitely will. So 2028, we'll have the election. There will be a new Republican or a new Democrat. For sure. So that's the one thing for me was like, in a way, I mean, again, I'm trying to, make the best of the thought of this. But in a way, it was kind of nice that we did have a buffer between him. Because the truth of the matter is the economy is going to be good. The economy is already great. He's going to take credit for that because people don't understand how the trends of the economy work. But inflation is going to go down naturally. It was already getting better, but it's going to go down once he get there. And people are going to assume that economic improvement was because of him, but it really was because of the Biden administration. But some people didn't wait long enough to give that man that credit, but it's fine. The economy is better than it's, oh my goodness. It's just, anyway, the economy is getting there. It's getting there. And by the time Trump is in office, it'll be even better. And I just want y'all to understand that man had nothing to do with it. But, people have some amnesia. But, yeah, it's just a lot. It was, if we get the House, that will be a lot. That'd just be very reassuring about a lot of buffers, because this man's going to need all types of buffers to keep his ass in line, to keep his ass in check. He's going to need buffers, y'all. We already know this already. He's going to need buffers. But again, we knew this already. So, it looks like McCormick is going to be the next senator, but in Pennsylvania, the Senate race for U.S. Senator in Pennsylvania is Bob Casey and Dave McCormick. AP has declared McCormick the winner. But there is a recount that is taking place. Democrats are not ready to concede because they really want to do a real thorough vote count. And it's too tight. It's too damn tight. So we're still waiting to see what the outcome is. But Bob Casey, as of the time in which I've recorded this podcast, has not conceded yet because that seat is too pivotal and Pennsylvania needs him. I mean, y'all understand that a Senate seat is 6 years. That's 6 years in the U.S. Senate. Like a Senate seat is nothing to sneeze on, baby. 6 years, that's a 6-year term. So if y'all try to figure out why they doing this count, because Fetterman is in his seat for 6 years. Okay? This ain't nothing to play with. You know, he got elected I believe in 2022. And so 2022. So he there to 2028. And he has to run for re-election. That's a 6-year term, baby. Them Senate seats are the real seats, honey. Okay? That's why they have an election every 2 years for different seats, you know. Because they're staggered. They're staggered races. But they're not gonna play with the Senate one. Like congressmen and Congress people run every 2 years. So you can flip seats every 2 years over there in Congress. But Senate seats, those seats are 6-year terms. And presidents are 4-year terms. So senators, they got more lasting power. So I do not blame the Democrats in Pennsylvania that are declaring recount and going to wait until everyone is counted, because that is a 6-year term. And you will be pissed off if you find out that, you know, somebody got in and the recount showed otherwise. No. We're going to recount all them votes. Make sure there's no errors, because every vote counts. Okay? So I just want to say I don't blame them for that. Okay? So we going to make sure we do that. Every vote does matter. We're going to see. Now, the Pennsylvania State House, I'm proud to say, still has the majority. So, Madam Speaker Joanna McClinton, Majority Leader, Appropriations Chair Jordan Harris, they're back. They held it on. Now, they'll be running for re-election 2 years, but they still got their house. State Senate is also, Pennsylvania State Senate is still Republican majority as always. As always. I mean, it still is. But, you know, we'll see how that plays out. But Pennsylvania is still doing their thing. There's been a blame game locally, as you can imagine. We're seeing the blame game already transpire. The blame game is in full effect. Guard your loins, everybody. Everybody got a blame game. Everybody is pointing the fingers in the Democratic Party. Nancy Pelosi, if you don't go sit down. So Nancy is, you know, former Speaker, Emeritus Nancy Pelosi. You know, she has some opinions, and now she wants to share them. She's like, you know, that the plan wasn't for necessarily Harris, that, you know, they wanted to have an open primary. But do y'all know math? Y'all, let me stop y'all right there. We're not even going to play the open primary narrative. If it would have been an open primary in that small window of time, there would have been chaos on the floor. Okay, let's be very clear. There would have been chaos on the floor at the DNC. There was no time. Okay, so that's the first part. The second part is, okay, some people said that he should have left much earlier. Well, some of y'all was lying, and y'all got to own that. Y'all were not being as honest to the public. You was trying to play in the public's face. And I think that led to some people having public distrust, right? Because people were trying to act like Biden was okay. I mean, I will say that I did believe it. I said maybe I knew he wasn't all the way, but I didn't think it was as bad until it got really bad. But at that point, it was too late. But there are people that was close to him, right? Like the vice president. But again, she's a black woman. I think she never wanted to look like she was trying to be the snake or backstab or take him out. But there were powers that knew for a long time that he wasn't well. And I think they really wanted to force him out much sooner. And I think the strategy was, from what I was hearing, this is allegedly,
that the strategy was to put Gavin Newsom up. And really, that's when they started pushing Gavin. And that was in December when there was initial rummagings in the media. Let me tell y'all something as a journalist. When you start hearing that kind of talk, understand that stuff doesn't fall from the sky. That's manufactured. That's coalitions, whether it was the Obama coalition, whether it was the Nancy Brigade. There's always political troops and people that start planning their stories. And the DC media, okay, the DC media, because let me be very clear. DC media is very different from the rest of the media. Now, I'm not talking about their local media. I'm talking about their political teams, right? So, if you in Hollywood, the LA Hollywood bloggers and journalists, that's a different type of group because they crazy over there. Like there's people that cover entertainment in every other part of the country, right? I do some entertainment writing and stuff, but I'm in Philly. But those LA people, they crazy. Them LA reporters that cover Hollywood, that covers the entertainment industry, they're a different type of breed of crazy, okay? I cover politics. I live in Philadelphia. But those DC political reporters and journalists, they crazy. And I don't mean that necessarily in a shady way in some fronts. Some of them, are decent people, right? But a lot of them are crazy. Crazy as in Olivia Nuzzi crazy. Like they be out here fucking folks in the Congress and the offices, the aides, the staffers and the aides. They be doing all kind of stuff to try to get, tips and stuff, literally and figuratively. I ain't gonna name no names, but if you look at a couple of them folks, they be connected. They be connected. Now let me be very clear before y'all run y'all mouth about me, okay, and who I'm married to, who I'm fucking. Me and my husband, Mr. Johnson, was together before we were even in this industry like this, okay? So you want to check yourself, okay? I never had to play the whole position. I never had to fuck to get a tip. Let's just clarify that. We were college sweethearts, baby. We were together before we had degrees. So, we earned ours. We're the last dying breed of meritocracy in this country. Black people are the last dying breed of meritocracy in this country. Let's be real. So I just want to put that on the record. But let me get back to the topic at hand. There are people who are single or acting single that live in DC that be up and down with comms directors and messing around with different people in different departments to get tips. And they not trying to marry those people or really are in love with those people. They just do what they got to do to stay ahead, to stay afloat, no pun intended. Y'all heard the story. Y'all know the tea. I never played that game. And trust me, as a black queer man, I could have played that game because some of the girls that look like me do be playing that game. But I ain't gonna name no names. But me and my bestie, Andre Carroll, the Honorable State Representative Andre Carroll, who also was at the gala and was great people. We talk about all the time. He's going to DC a couple of times to some White House events over the summer. And we just be going to some of these events and he goes to them and he'll come back and he'll call me and say, Ernest. I'm like, I told you. Because I already know DC. I was in Foggy Bottom. I was not a Foggy Bottom, but I was in Foggy Bottom. Nice area, right across from the White House. I had my DC summer experience. I was, living large in DC for a summer. So I know the scene over there. Congressional Black Caucus. I know the people. That's why I never go to CBC weekend, baby. I don't want to look at the past. I'm looking forward, honey. Forward. But I never, that scene, that DC scene for everybody, whether you're in media or not, but those DC folks, they crazy. So in December of last year, some of y'all, let's now we got to revisit some things. There were certain narratives about Biden coming out about his health and about how there was a possibility of somebody might replace him, who could replace him. It was just so ugly and messy. And I was just trying to figure out where was this coming from? I should have known it was the DC girls. But that was because of the Nancy Pelosi. That coalition, them folks was planting those stories, trying to force the president out. And I did mention this. See, for all of my Ernest stands, my core 200, the first 200 people that listen to this episode religiously when it drops, let me just say, we kind of was talking about this, but my framing was different because I was optimistic. I don't blame myself. I'm going to give myself grace for it. But there were signs. We was catching the signs. And I remember I kept saying at times that it was feeling like 2016, but we'll get there. So anyway, everybody was saying that there was a push for Newsom. And now in retrospect, they were trying to push Newsom. And Biden did his big one when he did. He dropped out late to put Kamala Harris in the front seat. And when he endorsed her, that shut everything down. And that made Nancy mad because they were like, clearly there's friction because the Democrats knew what was going on. And them governors knew because them governors are tight. The governors all knew what was going on. The governors knew what was going on. They knew the tea. And so everybody was trying to save face. But the plan was supposed to have an open primary. I think they wanted to have an open primary. I think they wanted him to drop out much sooner. And when he dropped out as late as he did, they were scared because the turnaround and the damage might have been done. The Democratic Party appeared weak. And they did her so dirty when you think about it. Like Kamala coming in so late like that, they set her up to fail to a certain extent. I mean, you looking back, was there any way that she could have won in such a short period of time? I don't know. Or do they really need to have a white man? But that's why it took so long for Obama and people to come out, because I think they really wanted to see the reaction. But black people just shored up the support immediately behind her. I mean, it was fast. And why was it fast? Because they didn't want anybody to try to stop this moment. Black folks, we wanted it so bad. Or the dream of it to happen so bad. But we mobilized and they couldn't, and they knew that voting base, they couldn't. Black folks blocked. And even though we didn't win, I'm proud of us that in some ways we didn't let the Democratic establishment have their way all the time. Because we can now play coulda, shoulda, woulda, right? Like in an ideal world, right? Biden should have dropped out much earlier. Maybe we should have had a primary. Maybe Harris could have potentially won the primary. We don't know. But we would have had enough time, right, that we could have done this a different way. To some extent, this reflects on Biden's legacy. And it's a metaphor for what happens when older people don't get out the way in time. When people want to hold on to power and their ego won't allow them to leave, to pass the baton. I'm thinking about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She should have left. R.I.P. to her, but she should have left. You know, people just want to retire. It's like, you know, we come on now. You know, come on now. We got to do what we got to do. So it's a lot. There's a lot of moments right now. You know, some serious work to be done right now. And, But no, they're playing the blame game now. Everybody now is presenting their different sides. Quite frankly, I could give a fuck. Honestly, when it comes to the establishment Dems, y'all wasn't honest to the people. Y'all wasn't honest to the public. Y'all kept facades. Y'all played nice. Y'all were the bigger persons when y'all should have just been humans. You all played a game. You wrote a check your ass couldn't cash. And now you're sitting there and all these different emotions and feelings. And now everybody want to talk. If Nancy would have pulled this off, she would have took credit for it. Now you want to act like this wasn't your grand plan. No, this was your plan all along. You got to own your shit, girl. You got to own your shit. This was your plan all along. This is what you was trying to do. So people just need to own that. People need to own that and be real with that. Because other than that, you know, we're not dealing with it. People always want to play both sides and all that. No. Stay in your position. Play your position. You helped him get out. You said it was good. You supported Harris. But even at the fundraiser, I heard there was some funny stuff going on at the fundraisers that Harris had. That there was always this weird vibe. And Kamala knew, but she didn't say anything. But she's gonna write that book, and we're gonna find out how people really are. because it's given. Clearly, they didn't want Harris. They didn't want Kamala. They didn't want Kamala. It's given they didn't want her. It's given that they was trying their hardest to move some stuff around. And yeah, yeah, I see it for what it is. I'm not fooled by any of this. I'll say that much. I'm not fooled by any of this. But yeah, there's a blame game. Now locally, there's a blame game happening locally over here. The Philly Dems are fighting. The girls are fighting. The Philly Dems are fighting. Um, you know, I've said it for years, but I'll say it again. Bob Brady gots to go. Bob Brady, former Congressman Bob Brady, who is the president, is the president, I guess that's the word, or the leader, the chair. He's the chair of the Philadelphia, the Philadelphia City Democratic Party. It's time. It's time, Bob. It's got to be replaced with new energy, new voices, just a different direction. He really said some very hurtful, crappy things. He said the lady. He never got a chance to meet the lady. And the lady he's referring to is Vice President Kamala Harris. He talked about how their campaign, didn't really put out any money, and how, he never met her and she never came around and all this other crap to justify the bullshit. I read between the lines of what he said, and I know what he said. I understood what it meant. It meant that y'all couldn't fleece the party. Y'all couldn't fleece the campaign, and she didn't kiss the ring. And you like for people to kiss the ring and to bow before you. And that's what these weak ass, these local Democrats do for you. And you wanted this black woman to do the same. And she gave you her ass to kiss. And as a result of that, you did a crap ass job you did the least that you could do to really help her, because you couldn't control the race. You wanted the money. You wanted super money because you don't know what fundraising looks like. And this is what one of the former campaign members had said about Bob Brady. Said that they're looking for the days of fleecing the party, not fundraising. I mean, he said that Bob Brady doesn't know how to fundraise. And that basically Bob Brady, he said in his words, fleeces parties. Like campaigns for money. Like it's pay to play. And that type of game, that those type of politics, and that's what he was trying to do here. I mean, to be real with you, the Philadelphia Democratic Party, like, I don't know what their fundraising apparatus is. I don't know. Like, I don't know what their fundraising apparatus is. I don't know what their work is at all. They don't know what the apparatus is. And so that's a big one for me, because a lot of people oftentimes will be able to say some stuff where listen, these national campaigns, which we're going to talk about them in a minute, these local parties in these major cities, this is what they do. They wait for a big race to come and drop thousands upon thousands, not thousands, millions of dollars. Take that back, millions. They want to drop in these parties on the ground game. But I'm going to be 100 today, 1,000 actually, because I've been talking about the Democratic Party. I wrote about it. I wrote the groundwork that this party is the most lethargic, lazy ass local party known to man. That they sit up here, the ward leader system is flawed. My husband and I talked about it. Like, first of all, we gotta stop having elected officials be ward leaders. Some of these ward leaders need to retire, respectfully. It is time to clean up the house. It is time to shake the motherfucking table. folks' heads need to be rolling right now. And some of the same people that want to make excuses, it's getting tired. The definition of insanity is repeating the same thing multiple times and expecting a different result. Literally. And to be honest with you all, we cannot keep doing this. We cannot keep having the same people and expecting a different result. Brady, no. We done dealt with this in 2016. The only reason why 2020 happened is because you're good buddies with Joe Biden, and so you like that white man, and so y'all shut up for that white man. But we can't keep having this. Philadelphia should have never underperformed as much as it did. Like, all of that money, even the campaign. I mean, the national campaign, because I'm going to get on their asses in a minute, but everybody was complicit in this. All of this money. And I said it, y'all, all of this money, all these celebrities, all of these concerts, what the fuck was it for? You would have thought we was in the pandemic. I don't even know what to blame. Like, all them concerts. So what happened? They went to the concerts and they still vote for Trump. They just want the free food, right? All of that money. All of these celebrities. All of this hype. We didn't even get the fucking popular vote. We didn't even get the fucking popular vote. Democrats? Okay. People want to say it's the economy. That's the narrative, right? We'll get there. But I just want to say that the local Democratic Party needs a major shakeup. It's long overdue. See, what I'm going to say is what no one else want to say. Y'all spend the past 4 years suppressing the goddamn vote anyway. Oh, I'm going to go there. We're going to talk about voter suppression. Y'all spend 4 years trying to run against other people. Y'all challenge young people. Y'all work aggressively to knock young people off ballots. You spend resources trying to uphold the same hierarchy of power. You don't want young people in positions of power. You don't want to build those people off the ground. You play into these politics day in and day out, and you find yourself in these same repetitive cycles. And then 4 years, you want to wake up magically and then go, oh my goodness, yay. Right. You want to do the whole, yay, we did it, and then it make everybody excited to vote. But if you have people voting regularly, like every 6 months, if you actually had people excited about the races, if you wasn't knocking off people off of ballots in competitive races, because y'all want to uphold a political oligarch. The oligarchy is now malarkey. And you don't have a sense of self. You don't have a sense of purpose. You don't even know what you're doing anymore. You've lost sight of everything. That's what happens in a system that do it. And Bob Brady wanted to keep certain people in power to keep himself in power. And now nobody wants to show up. Nobody wants to participate. Nobody wants to be a part of the bullshit. There was so much infighting. So much infighting. And the infighting is what led to the division. I feel like the infighting amongst the Democrats right now and has been around, has finally caught up to them. I thought it was the Republicans infighting was going to hurt them, but they learned how to unify. It's the Democrats once again. We don't have no medium. It's either we're full of euphoria and joy, or we're completely miserable, insufferable motherfuckers. Like, there's no in between with the Democrats. And as a result of that, a lot of people are fed up. The country's fed up in some ways. And let me be very clear. The fed upness is not the people that voted. It's the people that didn't vote. They said 15, 16, Democrats did not show up to the polls. What a difference that would have made. I mean, Trump did not landslide the way that we think he landslided. What happened was, if you look at a lot of these battleground states that he won, he just ship-owned votes. It was more like he just got by in certain percentage points, in certain battleground states. Like if more people just would have showed up and voted Democrat that were registered, it would have been fine. They just didn't show up. Again, there's going to be lots of blame game. Lots of blame game about the Democratic strategy. People are like, look, the moment she went out with Liz Cheney, that sent missed messages. There was too much appealing to the right, thinking like, oh, if I appeal to these Republicans or I look like I'm going to appeal to them, they kept doing that was going to get people. But what happened was the Democrats assumed that their party voters were going to vote for them and stay loyal to them because of how fearful they were. But there was also just confusion around the messaging because y'all were like, oh, democracy online. But now y'all over here shaking hands and talking about y'all going to meet with Trump and everybody just acting on positive and having an old peaceful trip. The fuck? You literally spent this entire campaign cycle acting like democracy online, that the way we should be scared of a Trump administration. And now y'all smiling in our faces and y'all acting like it's going to be okay. Everybody's going to sit down and work it out. I thought this was about to be that's the thing. Democrats have fearmongered so much that nobody believes them. I'm not saying I don't know not to believe them, but I just feel like there are people that just like, y'all keep acting like it's doomsday every time. At some point, we're just going to push the button and see what it's going to do. And I feel like if some people feel like they'll survive this Trump era, if they'll be okay, if it work out, they'll see. It's not until they finally see this time. If he really shows his ass this time, because I guess the last time he didn't really show his ass. Look, I'm a black person, so, as one of the most marginalized of the most marginalized, I guess for us, we know that when this shit hits for us, that, a cough for y'all is a cold for us, Some of y'all gonna sneeze. For us, it might be a flu. It's gonna be the flu for us. So we always are gonna get the brunt end of whatever administration, whether it's Biden, Trump, Bush, whatever, right? We've been through it all. Clinton, okay? You want to talk about it? We've been through all of the different eras. Like we always get hit the hardest. So I guess they don't care about us. It's the anti-blackness for me. That they're like, oh, black people, y'all always think shit gonna be hard for y'all. They don't care. So they gonna have to get hit this time. And so some of these folks, this might have to be the thing for them. For them, I suppose. But coalitions are just fractured. Democrats are fractured. Progressives are fractured. Everybody's fractured. And now to the media. I don't care what Simone Sanders have to say. Yeah, I don't care what none of these. Van Jones, I don't care. I'm not really. I will tell you that this era of my political coverage and journey, I'm not really watching cable news anymore. I don't care what's on. Unless they call a brother and got their money right and want to go in a different direction, but I doubt it. They just a broken clock. They were a part of the problem. They normalized Trump. They made Trump seem like he was equivalent. They played both sides, and now they're going to make their money covering this shit, and they feel like journalism is going to stay alive because now they get to cover the Trump administration and media and this. But honestly, I don't think so. I think most of us are going to check out with a lot of bullshit, and rightfully so. Because most of this country's been checked out on it. Half of this country is. A lot of us already know the issues. We'll still read, but the level of wanting me to be engaged, I am giving the people the not now. Not now. Not now, Sue. Not now, Chad. Not now. Okay? Because, no. Like, some of my listeners, well, not listeners, but my followers on social media, they want to send me this stuff. And like, can you believe this? Please stop saying that. Take that out your mouth. Can you believe this? Take that out your mouth. Don't even use that note anymore. Like, we're dating that word. Don't send me any crazy stuff. Like, I heard the story about the text messages. Like, it is horrific and it's terrible. But this president is not going to respond to it. Nobody is surprised. It is unfortunate. My advice to those individuals, be safe, be vigilant, strap up if you need to, protect yourself, report what you can. But like at a certain point, just trying to get reactions out of people on every little goddamn thing. Like, I'm just not responding, reacting to racism. I stopped doing that a long time ago, to be honest. Like, I'm just past the point of feeling like I gotta always react to something. Like, police killings, extrajudicial police killings are terrible. They're horrible. We know this. The system is flawed. But what I'm not going to do is I got to guard some level of joy and sanity. I mourn those deaths. I mourn racism that happens anywhere, right? But the performance of having to be this, soundboard for people in that way is just, it is exhausting. It is. And I've made certain choices for myself and for myself that I cannot wallow in that level of misery and suffering and trauma on a routine basis, because it will wear and it will tear, it will harden you, it will isolate you, it will depress you, to be honest. And so I want to be very clear that it's not that I don't see these things, understand these things, but I'm at a higher altitude of my ability to impact change, that for me, it's beneath me to simply make a post and do a video and do the reaction and shit, that I can do so much more, and I have been doing more, and that there are more impactful ways for me to use my platform to push a larger cause and voice that will not only address one person's death, but murders in general. And I think that it's time for a lot of people to recognize that they can do way more with the resources they have than what they've been doing. Because I think that's the real issue here. White women out here, let's talk about this one thing. Y'all got to stop with these blue bracelets. I'm not about to post it all day, all night. But let me tell y'all right now, can y'all stop with the blue bracelets? Can y'all stop with the blue bracelets? Nobody wants the bracelets. Nobody wants this shit. Put that shit away. Put it away. Nobody wants them. Nobody needs them. Nobody's asking for them. Okay? Talk about something. I want to put a blue bracelet on to signify, let black women know and black folks know that we're safe. Baby, listen, the scam is real. The scam is in. I don't need none of y'all to try to sell me up a stream and tell me something about y'all allies, y'all this, y'all that. Listen, listen, a blue bracelet, let me tell you something. A blue bracelet is not the signal for me. It's the, who did I know before this election that was rocking and supporting and doing what they doing for community? I've already found my people, baby. You go convince somebody else. But this performative nature, we're past that point. What was the safety pins last time? Y'all not gonna be able to perform y'all way through this. There's not enough books y'all can buy. We did that in 2016. We did that in 2020. We ain't doing that this time, okay? Save your shirts, your little merch, your little performing this shit to make yourselves feel good. That shit makes y'all feel good. That don't mean nothing to black people. I just want y'all to know it don't mean anything to black people. The safety pins didn't mean shit then. I remember I had dragged the safety pins in 2016 and people was like, oh, you Debbie Downer, you just so negative Nancy, you. And then look at y'all now, okay? So we done did this already. We're not repeating it. The Women's March. Now, I'm not a woman, so I'm not speaking on behalf of women, but the black women, the sisters told me they send that one out too. And y'all good luck with that. Y'all go do that because they not doing it. The black women I know said no. Straight up no. White women talk about something, let's pull up our sleeves. We got to do it again. Y'all gonna do it again. Y'all go out there and you put your pussy hats on. But I heard from black women, I'm speaking about what I heard from black women like my mama and everybody else I know. Every black woman I know told me, nah, we good on that. I said, what y'all think about that woman? No. So if y'all see a bunch of white women that go out there, that's them. Black women said they send that one out. Black folks are sending it out this time, y'all. Okay, the only ones that's gonna keep talking are the grifters, the Van Jones, the folks that need a check, the folks that want to be at MSNBC and these media outlets acting like they know something that we didn't know. Child, they making a little money. Honestly, this is why I tell people, it was so upon me to diversify my streams of revenue and my scope of talent because I told myself I need to find outlets of joy and release. It was not a coincidence, y'all, that I chose to be a food editor while also covering politics because I needed a space and an outlet to take my mind off of some of this extreme crap. Now more than ever, I look forward to continuing to eat great food and drink great wine and just be in a space of joy with things that give me pleasure and leisure. Yes, I'm going to continue to cover and discuss the issues that matter. Of course I am. That's not changing at all. And I'm going to definitely pour into my book. But I want to be very clear that this is a time of growth. Like, I love being a professor right now. To be able to be in a classroom, to be on a college campus, and to inspire people, to be in a classroom environment like CCP, a community college where economically diverse students who need a voice like mine, a presence like mine to be there. Like, I am just expanding my reach. I'm pouring into organizations, advocacy organizations that do the work, right? To support the free press, to support Black journalists. I'm putting myself into Black media spaces like WRD to just do the work. Like, there's just another vision. There's another way to do this. We got to do it differently. We can't do it like we've been doing it because that's not working anymore. It's not sustainable. And I've learned this for many years and I've been hinting at it, but now I want it to be very clear that this is why I was so invested in just shaking things up a little bit, because the humdrum of the political way, I'm just not going to give that man who's going back to the White House, I'm not giving that man my energy. I didn't even do it in 2016. Like, during his era, his first term, I don't know if y'all noticed, but I didn't write too much about him. And I'm really not about to write that much about him now. I'm going to write about the issues. I'm going to write about local issues. But I'm not about to sit up here and give this man all of my bandwidth. I'm just not. And I'm not doing any free panels. I'm not going to sit on any panels and talk to people and do all this. Oh, white people, this is why. I'm not doing it. If I'm not being paid for my labor, because to me it's a job. That's a job. Like I'm not sitting in any intellectual spaces for free where institutions continue to undervalue and underpay Black folks. I'm not doing it. No more free labor. I stopped that in 2020, to be honest. But I want to reiterate that in this era, absolutely not. No. Unless I'm in Black spaces where we are sharing resources, I'm in Black spaces, queer spaces where I am in, and not all queer spaces. Let me be clear about that, you log cabin Republicans. If I'm not in those spaces where I can really truly make a real impact and give light and do the thing, right? I'm not wasting my breath. I'm not wasting my time. I want to be very clear about that. I'm not wasting my breath. I'm not wasting my time. Because so many people, played in our faces, and I'm just refusing to let people play in my face this time around. So I want to be very clear about that up front, that it's a whole new change over here. These cable channels, these people, they want to talk about maybe it was the economy. Miss me with that shit too. Maybe it was the economy. Maybe it was the economy. Okay. Okay. Y'all can believe that too. Y'all can believe that too. Because there's some people that really, yeah. There's some people that play some games. And now, they're gonna learn the hard way. They're gonna learn the hard way. And this is a moment in time. Whew. But so this week's Ask Ernest is about what you all been asking me about. Y'all want to know what happened. And y'all know what I'm talking about, because over 1,000 of you all liked the post I did on Instagram, read my IG story this past weekend and around, was it Friday? I let the chop out, as my good friend would say, Janetta. She says, she'd be like, Ernest, let the chop out. Alana know what I'm talking about. You know, our good friend Janetta, she loved to say, let the chopper out. And she was somebody seen it, somebody, he let the chopper out. I didn't let the chopper out. Because I did keep something from y'all. And I didn't keep anything from y'all because I did hint at it, actually. Because we did talk about a certain governor. Which, let me just say this before I say this. There are people already writing saying that he's the front runner for president in 2028. Not on my fucking watch. Not over here. Because I feel like there were certain people, I'll just say this, that Pennsylvania, some Democrats was hating that when Shapiro did not get that VP pick, they didn't give a fuck anymore. And some of them made it very clear that they wasn't feeling her after that she came to Philadelphia and she got on stage with Tim Walz and they felt like Josh Shapiro got played. And so I think there was some level of Democrats that didn't want to show up heavy for her because they were still bitter that Shapiro didn't get the VP pick and they didn't get their power. And there's a part of me that's like, look, I'm not happy with this election outcome, but there is a universal karma that maybe this was what needed to happen for the Democrats learning their lesson. But the sad part is I can't even say that because they're going to be fine. These political parties are going to be fine. But everyday people, I just hope that they're still supported, that they're okay. Because everybody suffers behind the pettiness of politics. Like y'all hijacked and ruined this campaign because of the fact that y'all didn't get what y'all want. And now everyday people are suffering. These people got to go. This political establishment, this shit's got to go. Because they're really not working for the people. When you really think about it, they really don't give a fuck about the people. Yeah. Yeah, that is just, oh, that pisses me off. A lot needs to be said. A lot will be said. More from me will be coming. Whew. So, what happened to me? So, you all know that in July, I wrote the piece about the Biden campaign. And it was for Philadelphia Magazine. It was a long form. It came out in the July issue of Philadelphia Magazine. And it was a long form piece that I did because I had been covering the campaign up until that point. And if you all remember, my piece came out before Biden eventually dropped out the race. He dropped out July 21st. My piece came out July 6th, right around Labor Day, not Labor Day, Independence Day weekend, July 4th. When I wrote this piece, I did see, and I wrote very honestly about how I saw some interesting signs, right? They put the campaign headquarters back where the Clinton campaign headquarters was in 2016. The enthusiasm was just not there. The timing of how they did these office rollouts and stuff was just very lack of energy. It just felt dated. The enthusiasm, the hype, everything just felt like there was just no real enthusiasm. There were many experts, Black campaign experts on the ground that really talked about how they were concerned about the Latino vote, how they were concerned about Black voter turnout, how Black voters in Philadelphia, while the majority of them vote Democrat, the numbers of them to show up, they were feeling less enthusiastic to vote and show up, and that there need to be some real serious work, right, to make a difference. And so I wrote what I heard, what I saw. And the campaign, definitely gave me a lot of, like, this is the Biden campaign. Let me be very clear. They were very accessible to me for that story because they really wanted to make a case about the outreach efforts they were doing to get the Latino vote, to get, Black voters. They were trying to make a case about how this was going to be different, how they were going to turn 2024 around. But it was mission impossible It looked like it was Mission Impossible. It looked like they had a tough task because so much of the narrative of how Philadelphia showed up in 2020 was misguided. And I revealed that in my piece. And yeah, I told the truth. And you all know that when I do pieces like this, they can be iconic and powerful in different ways, where it's that piece that tells everybody something's coming and nobody wanted to hear it. And so at that time, the piece was read, by the political insiders. It didn't get a lot of blowing up because there was a lot of stuff going on during that time. The debate happened with Biden. People were calling for Biden to drop out. So people really didn't read it as much at the time. They're damn well reread it now. But when you go back and read it, the question is, will Philly win? Will Philly win again in 20? Will Philly decide 2024 again? I mean, that's the piece. Will Philadelphia decide 2024? That it was a question mark. That's the name of the article, and it's in Philly Mag. Put my name in. You can read it. It's available to read online now. But at the time, I just remember there was a lot of people who were very much unsure. But it was too much going on, and Biden drops out shortly after. Well, what happens during that time, and this is what I did not tell you all, was that a lot of those Philly Biden campaign workers, right, that was on the campaign transitioned to the Harris campaign in Philly. Like, she basically inherited Biden's team. And of course she did, add her own team and add her own people. But there were a lot of people who were upset. And their campaign team hated my guts. Let me just start by saying that. They hated my guts. They hated my guts. All right. They were upset about, everything. They were pissed about that article. There were a lot of things. And as a result of that, I was pretty much blacklisted from the campaign, So when a lot of you all were asking me why wasn't I at certain rallies and certain things, it was because of the fact that I was in many ways cut off, because they knew I wasn't just writing any type of piece, that I wasn't just writing, I wasn't going to be a sycophant for them. And they really were, that campaign, because I'm talking about the campaign now. When they had these rallies, these gatherings, that's why I wasn't there. Because they really did not want anyone to be critical of what was going on. But I knew what was going on. I saw the pictures. I saw the gatherings. It was the same people. It was the same crowd. The hype was manufactured from day one. The people that they were begging to come out to some of those community events, a lot of those people that were part of the ad commercials, those were not everyday people. Those were ward leaders, committee people, family members of certain folks. Everything was just not really genuine. It was a facade. A lot of it was a facade. A lot of it was, and they didn't want journalists like me in the room, Black journalists like me, because see, let me be very clear, as a Black person that knows politics, I know the ward leaders, I know the committee people, I know these folks, these neighborhoods. It was the same broken record. And I felt it and I knew it. And the campaign made it a point to keep me off of press lists, to not invite me to certain things, to not give me access to certain stuff. They purposely, kept me off the radar. It was very different from 2020, where I did get invitations to certain spaces. I was in the room when Obama was in the room. But I wasn't, what I'm saying? I wasn't, It was the same playbook. They cherry picked who they wanted. And this time they did a lot to the press. They picked influencers over us. They chose influencers They brought all those influencers. Like y'all kept saying, like, oh my God, why is this person? Why does TikTok here? They replaced the press rooms often with influencers. There wasn't that many journalists that was given access. The black press was treated like shit. I mean, for example, WRD is one of the only black-owned radio stations in America. We're the only one in Pennsylvania. We're in Philadelphia and we're a big damn deal. Do you know that Vice President Kamala Harris, as a presidential candidate, as many times that she visited Philadelphia, as many times that she showed up, that not one time that they allow her to do an interview on WRD radio? Like, that's how much they played in people's face. I wasn't invited. I wasn't allowed access. And you all were like, well, where's you at the presidential debate? Let me remind you all that the presidential debate is not hosted by campaign parties. They're done by the Commission on Debates and also by the station. So ABC News was the host. They facilitated the debate. They did the press credentials. The campaign had no role. And if they did, I doubt I would have been invited. Because let me tell you why I say this, and I want y'all to remember this very well. Remember when I told you that Harris had went to a location, a secret location? They didn't tell the press. They told the influencers. They didn't tell the press. I wasn't notified about where her hideaway location was. I wasn't allowed entry or access. So she actually skipped the press bracket. But who was I stuck with? Who showed up to talk to the press? Donald J. Trump did. And so, whereas I would have liked to talk to VP Harris and Walz right after, everything was said and done, no, that didn't happen. Actually, I was stuck at the convention center getting a question out from Donald Trump. That's what I did. So, yeah, never interviewed Harris. I interviewed her in 2020, had more access then, but they locked me out this time because they were worried, I think, that I was going to expose the gaps. And the reason why I did not say anything is because I did not want to be a distraction to this black woman's efforts to be the next president of the United States. I didn't want to add more gasoline to a fire. I didn't want to censor myself or make it about me. I didn't want there to be all this attention. I didn't want to cause more discouragement. I didn't want my story to be spun by the right-wing media. Like, I didn't want there to be unnecessary issues. And I know black people know what I'm talking about, where we could be in a situation, but we know that sometimes we could make the situation worse. My mindset was that in spite of how fucked up these individuals were, this campaign was on the right side of history, even though the people within it were not. But maybe that's why she lost. Maybe that essentially the both sides, that they're both fucked up, never resonated more. That the anti-blackness and the issues, and now you're hearing from some of these campaign workers. I'm not talking about the ones who were the gatekeepers that were at the lead, but these volunteers, these people, these grassroots people, that now they're coming forward sharing their stories, because a lot of us couldn't say anything. And again, I didn't work with the campaign. I'm just talking as a black journalist, but even black journalists, a lot of us you're going to hear things these next couple of weeks that are going to shock you, or maybe not shock you, about what went down this campaign. But I say this because a lot of us did not say anything, because we did not want there to be more division, more infighting, more confusion. But when I tell y'all how painful and how disgusted it was to see these campaign people, a lot of them were not even black. I mean, you look around at some of that team, it was not black people. That mean black people that have voice. A couple of them did. And a couple of them, because it's Philly, cherry picked and put their friends on. Put their friends on the same Philly grip, put their friends on, put the same people on, took care of their homies, and left a lot of people like myself out of the conversation. And now they want to call me. Now everybody want to catch up and have a conversation and talk about, no. I don't want to do, I don't drink coffee. I don't want to talk about the election with you. It's just not something I want to do. I don't. I want to recuperate, recover, restore, renew, reheal, recharge with people that was doing that with me before November 5th. If you didn't have my number or didn't use my number or stayed silent and ignored me and kept me out the loop and just never engaged with me, fuck you. And I mean that. Fuck you. Because how many elections? Like, this shit happens every single time. I said it, y'all, that every election, presidential election, people always show their ass. They get brand new, they get Hollywood, they get real funny acting. And then when they get humbled by the loss, then they come to people like me because they want to shoot the shits because they know I'm a real one. Nah, go with your fake friends and go figure it the fuck out. I repeat, go hang out with your fuck friends. Yeah, the fuck friends. Go hang out with your fake ass friends and go figure it the fuck out. Because I'm being very selective. This is my curated era, my selective era, my cherry pick era, my stop playing my face era. Like, I'm just in that direction right now myself and what I do. And so, yeah, I stood on business with that. I wasn't going to play no games with that. You know, I'm tired. I'm over it. Okay? All right. So, I saw it. I saw a lot. And in this era, I promised myself I'm not going to be silent again. I'm not going to be quiet again anymore. I am not protecting anybody because they will not protect you. So I promise you that I will be more in real time addressing any bullshit that's happening on the ground that I think, that is of significance. I'm not going to wait until the election is, but I hope y'all understand why I did. And a lot of you all did. And I appreciate some of y'all black women was saying to me that it was very big of you that in spite of everything, you held your tongue to protect that black woman. Because that's really why I did it, to be honest. Because I knew if I said something, it wasn't going to reflect the people that did it to me. It was going to reflect her. And they were going to use the opportunity to harm her. And I just didn't want that. I didn't want that. I did not want that to be the narrative, because as somebody who not only is a journalist, but understand communications and messaging and studied this, I knew what the implications were. And that's why I was so frustrated with those people that did it, that was on that campaign, because the optics, y'all didn't realize that you all with your own, because that's what happens when you hire a team that's not black, that does not know community, so I will give her fault for that, this team was definitely not the reflective of Philadelphia, that they leaned too much on the same party players, the same folks, and they didn't do no real engagement with people that mattered. It was a lot of bad moves. And let me tell you, I'm finding out some stuff about some people. And honestly, I know. And my mindset is never again. I'll just leave it at that. Sometimes just kinfolk ain't your kinfolk. I will leave it at that. But there's some stuff, people want to cough up receipts, emails, text messages. Oh, I done seen some things to confirm what I already knew, but just putting some names on it. I was like, okay, duly noted. And that's why I told a lot of you all, like, y'all were like, why was I not here? Why was I not there? It was because they did not want me there. So I just want to be transparent about that tonight, or today. Today. That, yeah, yeah. Mm-mm-mm. So I'm gonna put that food for thought. For sure. So, oh, what a night. What a day. What a time. So, moving along. I want to talk about movies. Um, I saw Wicked, and Wicked couldn't have come at a better time. Wicked is incredible. Wicked Part 1. I'm ready for Part 2. I just want to reiterate it. I know people have been talking about Wicked already, but I just wanted to say again that Wicked, go see Wicked. Go see Wicked. Oh, go see Wicked. Cynthia Erivo. I mean, look, she's problematic in so many levels, but the girl, but she can sing, as that character once said on Glee. Ariana Grande, listen, her accent changed. She's leaning into her white girl. We like white Ariana Grande. Girl, stay white, stay Italian, lean into it, baby. Okay. She's sticking with her race, her color, who she is, and we love to see it for her. Ariana Grande has entered her I'm a white woman, I'm an Italian woman era. We're here for it. Dangerous girl, dangerous woman. She was great as Glinda. She played Glinda in all of its whiteness and blondness. She definitely played it. I mean, it's a role that she was meant to play, to be honest. And it just works for her. It's almost like a dream role. Like, it's like with the blonde, with the look, she definitely, the fragileness of her, the doll likeness. I mean, she really, yeah. The vocals, the look, the charm, she did it. She definitely played Glinda to the fullest. And Cynthia Erivo as Alphaba is, I mean, the levels of depth. I mean, it's a great cast. It's just I can't emphasize it enough. It'll be out next Friday, not this upcoming Friday, but next Friday, right in time. And speaking of which, the Thanksgiving trifecta, y'all, is here. Moana 2, yes, with The Rock, and it's back. Moana 2 is back. Which the first one is an instant Disney classic. But Moana 2, Gladiator 2, and Wicked. Thanksgiving movies are back. The blockbuster hits. Yes, I'm thinking about the box office. The box office is about to go through it, baby. That money that we haven't seen is sleepy. It's been sleepy at the box office these last couple of weeks. But it's about to be a huge boom. And we haven't even got to Christmas yet. Mufasa, the Lion King, released a new theatric poster. If you go to Disney's Instagram, they put the poster up. That's coming. The new Lion King is coming. Gladiator 2, Moana 2. I mean, we're back at the movies. And the timing couldn't be better. Because we needed this. I already told y'all Gladiator 2 was the GOAT. Denzel is doing the work. And, I can't wait to see Denzel get an Oscar. I really want him to get this Oscar. I know he's going to get nominated, but I really want him to get this third Academy Award. It's the least that we can do, America. Come on, Academy. Y'all love Denzel. Come on, let this be the first Black actor in history to win 3 Academy Awards. He's got 2. Mahershala Ali got 2 as well. But we need 3. We need 3. 3's a charm. We need him to have 3. So I just wanted to just get that off my chest. But I just want y'all to know the box office, the blockbusters are coming. Hollywood is coming. It's back because we need it. Okay, the writer's strike, all the strikes, the guilds, they got their money. The movies are back. So prepare yourselves. Now to these Grammy nominations. 99 nominations in her career. She is now the only Soul, most nominated performer, person ever, Beyonce. She's shot her shot for 12 nominations. She got 11. 11 nominations. Cowboy Carter. All the major ones. All the ones, y'all. The only one that didn't get nominated out of her 12 that she submitted for was Tyrant in the R&B category, even though I love Tyrant. Tyrant is actually one of my favorite songs off the album. But Tyrant didn't get nominated for R&B. But everything else, Best Country Album, Country Song, Americana for Yaya. I think a pop, what did she put in the pop categories? Pop collaboration, Levi Jeans, country duo with Miley Cyrus, Two Most Wanted, record of the year, song of the year for Texas Hold'em, and album of the year for Cowboy Carter. Let's go. Let's go. But I know what y'all saying. We're going to have that same experience we felt the last time, right? When Trump, won the Hillary year. Lemonade was nominated in 2017, and then who won that year? Not her, Adele. Will a white person win again? We'll see. I'm hopeful. I like her to win. Wouldn't it be a nice moment? I think we all kind of don't trust the Academy, the Recording Academy. I'll just be real with y'all. I mean, at this point, Taylor Swift could probably win again, child. At this point, it's possible because she just been winning nonstop. But interesting enough, she did get nominated for Album of the Year. Fortnite got nominated in the other two categories, Record of the Year, Song of the Year. But it didn't really get too much traction. I mean, it got the pop vocal album, but it didn't really get as many nominations. It's not the more splashier nominee this year. Charlie XCX got nominated more than Taylor Swift did this year. And a sign is that Jack Antonoff, who previously won Producer of the Year, did not get nominated for Producer of the Year this year, even though he put that album together. So there's a sign that maybe she won't win Album of the Year. But interesting nominees this year. Of course, Billie Eilish got nominated for her album. Charlie XCX got nominated for Brat. Sabrina Carpenter got nominated for Sweet and Short. Chappell Roan got nominated for, Midwestern Princess. Andre 3000 got nominated for his flute album. That was the biggest shocker. And then another album did. But it was all pop this year. The pop girlies took over. And then, of course, Cowboy Carter. It was 8 nominees total. But the pop girls really did do their big one. They really did show up and show out. So I will say that was an impressive moment for sure. I wasn't expecting that level of turnout. But the pop guys, they were all right. Now, Shabuzi got nominated, got nominated for, some big awards, which I'm happy about. Got nominated for Record of the Year, Song of the Year and Best New Artist. He did not get nominated for Record of the Year for Tipsy, a bar song. First of all, that is the Record of the Year, but Espresso did. I must say that. Espresso got nominated for Record of the Year, which I think is the favorite to win, because Shabuzi's not. And I thought Shabuzi was definitely going to, because, it's got the record. 15 weeks number one, like the biggest number one hit of this decade. But Song of the Year got nominated for, I don't know. Birds of a Feather got nominated for Record of the Year, Song of the Year. Look, they love Billie Eilish in the Song of the Year category. She won last year. We gotta see. We gotta see, because Record of the Year last year went to Flowers by Miley Cyrus. So, Espresso could pull it off. Even though it wasn't a number one hit, but it was such a major song. Espresso was a breakthrough record for Sabrina Carpenter. But I really feel like Shabuzi should have won record of the year. The fact that it wasn't even nominated is just annoying. So I kind of want Shabuzi to win Song of the Year at least. At least. Okay? Because that brother did his thing. I mean, the country crossover, black country crossover that was spewed, that was emboldened largely by the work of Beyonce, inspired a lot of other people to go country, because even Post Malone's album is nominated Best Country Album, and our good girl Casey Musgrove as well. So there was a lot of moments to be had, for sure. So I just, it was a moment. It was definitely a moment to be had. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited about Beyonce. Her and her husband, Jay-Z, was tied for most nominated at 88 nominations. And then she broke that tie, came back again stronger with 11 nominations this time. She won the 12 because she wanted to get 100. So now we got to wait. You got to come back. Act 3 going to be the next one. Then you're going to be over 100 nominations. But it would be lovely for her to win Album of the Year. I really want her to. I mean, she swept up, baby. She swept up in them categories. She did not submit anything in the pop categories and didn't need to, which was interesting. People who got completely shut out. Let me also say this. Shout out to Doechii. I told you our Doechii album was everything, okay? That Doechii album got nominated for rap album. Now she's up against, her biggest competition to me is Metro Boomin and Future with their collaborative album, We Didn't Like You, or We Never Liked You, whatever it's called. Because, they did that thing. Kendrick Lamar is the most nominated rap artist this year. Record of the Year, Song of the Year for They Not Like Us, which is interesting. A lot of people think he might surprise us. I mean, he did get that. He did get that big nose. Those nominations did come through. Another major number 1 hit. So, he's nominated multiple times. Best rap song, Like That, and also for Like Us, Not Like Us, which we all know Not Like Us is gonna win. But shout out to Glorilla for being nominated for Yeah Glow, which was awesome. Also, shout out to, again, Doechii for Alligator Bites Never Heal. She's up for Might Delete Later by J. Cole, which should have been deleted. The Auditorium by Common and Pete Rock. They always like to put one of the old school, one of the, traditional rappers in there. And then The Death of Slim Shady by Eminem was nominated because they always going to have a white boy in there. But We Don't Trust You by Future Metro Boomin. I think it's going to be between Doechii and We Don't Trust You by Metro Boomin. I think those are going to be the two that's going to take that category. But best pop solo performance, I actually take that back. Beyonce was nominated in pop category. Bodyguard, Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish, Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter, Apple by Charlie XCX, and then Good Luck Babe by Chappell Roan. No Taylor Swift nomination for best pop solo performance. Very telling. If I was betting, I would say Espresso. But don't skip Billie Eilish. Don't sleep on Billie Eilish, okay? Now, best pop vocal album. Short and Sweet by Sabrina Carpenter. Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie Eilish. Eternal Sunshine by Ariana Grande. The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess by Chappell Roan. And The Tortured Poets Department by Taylor Swift. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Interesting enough, in the best pop duo group performance category, Fortnite didn't even get nominated in that category. It was Guess with Charlie XCX and Billie Eilish. Levi's Jeans by Beyonce featuring Post Malone. Die with the Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. The Boy Is Mine with Ariana Grande, Brandy, and Monica. Let me tell you why that's important. 25 years ago, Monica and Brandy won their first Grammys for The Boy Is Mine in the R&B category. Here they are nominated again, this time with Ariana Grande. How touching. And then Us, which is Gracie Abrams and Taylor Swift. So that should tell you something. Taylor Swift is not showing up in all these major categories. That might be a sign. Let me tell you what album of the year was again. It was New Blue Sun by Andre 3000. Jesse Volume 4 by Jacob Collier. Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie Eilish. The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess by Chappell Roan. The Tortured Poets Department by Taylor Swift, Brat by Charlie XCX, Short and Sweet by Sabrina Carpenter, and Cowboy Carter by Beyonce. So those are the 8 that got nominated. I was shocked that Eternal Sunshine by Ariana Grande was not, because I felt like that was a strong one. But I was surprised. That was, like, in my opinion, one of her best albums of all time. Record of the Year, Then and Now by the Beatles, Texas Hold'em by Beyonce, Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter, 360 by Charlie XCX, Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish, Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar, Good Luck Babe by Chappell Roan, and Fortnite by Taylor Swift, featuring Post Malone. Song of the Year, a bar song, Tipsy by Shabuzi, Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish, Die With a Smile, Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, Fortnite, Taylor Swift featuring Post Malone, Good Luck Babe by Chappell Roan, Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar, Please, Please, Please by Sabrina Carpenter, and Texas Hold'em by Beyonce. She did her big one, okay? Beyonce wasn't playing with these categories, okay? They was just like, I feel like there might be enough momentum to give it to Beyonce, but you never know. That silent majority of white voters might just go ahead and do Taylor Swift. But if Beyonce does not get it for Cowboy Carter, child, I just hope somebody show their ass. Can somebody show their ass? Because, the TMZ said it was me last time. That was allegedly. We don't do the rumors over here. TMZ, how can we believe them? But, I hope people boo or show their ass. I don't know. Because nobody else in that category deserves. I love Andre 3000, but that Flute album, that's cute, but let's be for real. Nobody else. If they give it to Chappell Roan, which I don't think they will, but if they do, ciao. Her before Beyonce, y'all just better just not play. This better be her year. This gotta be her year. With everything that's happening, America has a problem. So we'll see. And then, there is TV. I've just been watching drunk TV, y'all. I have not watched much sophisticated TV. I'm looking forward to Love and Hip Hop Miami, which comes back next week. Because, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta has taken its break. It's they're about to go to London and record, which I look forward to Love and Hip Hop London to see. There's the Atlanta cast going to London. So, they're not going to be new British folks fighting. Could you imagine that? Leave me alone, James. Fuck you, Becky. Well, they want to be Becky. It'll be like, what's a British girl name? Lashana. Fuck you, Lashana. I'm going to have my crumpets now. Don't leave me. They'll be fighting and it'll be knucking in Buckingham for real. But no, there will not be that kind of Love and Hip Hop. Could you imagine a Love and Hip Hop London where they have the British accents, but they're like beefing? Like we got to find them. What's that fine one everybody love? That fine rapper, the British one that looked real good that they were saying that was rumored to be with Adele. They got to bring some of the Nigerian rappers and people out there to really be, out there. Cause there is a black British scene, out there. We got to have Dave. We got to bring Dave. We got to bring Ren Gill. Like we got to bring the boys back, Giggs, Dave, Getz, Storm. Oh yeah. Stormzy, Skepta. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Skepta. Kano is cute too. Like you listen, the British rappers, Nines, Fredo, J Hus, where are you at? Dizzy Rascal. We need the black British. We need you know what? Let me call my girl. Because Mona Scott Young. Let me call Mona Scott Young. I saw her at the Grammys last year or early this year. Let me call her because we might have a Love and Hip Hop London. Okay, we might have a Love and Hip Hop London on the rocks. They need to be fighting at a fish and chips pub. I don't know, but I'm getting inspired right now with the Love and Hip Hop London idea, because that would be fun. The food will be nasty, and people always talk about is the food good in London? Listen, I've heard mixed reviews, y'all. I'll just say that. But I'm looking forward to Love and Hip Hop Miami. I'm excited to see what Mara La Negra gonna do, because she always was somebody she shouldn't be with. She was somebody's man this season that she has no business with, and so it's getting messier with her. So I look forward to her, Trina, Trick Daddy, the whole crew. But Baddies Midwest has already launched. If you have not caught up, catch up. It is feisty. The girls are back. The sisters, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Blueface. Well, not Blueface, but Christian Blue. Oh my goodness. And her sister, Takashi. Have you been following the drama with them? Child. That's all I'm gonna say. Child. Reality TV. Sometimes reality TV be a little bit too much reality for me. I wasn't trying to learn too much, but I learned too much. Too much was being said on that episode, the premiere. But I've been watching Baddies Midwest. So far, so ratchet. Zeus is Zeusing, but it's my escape. I just need escape. Escapism is gonna be very crucial these next coming years. Just to relax. Sometimes to just take a step and get into the groove. So all of that is great. But yeah, this week we're back at City Hall, back at City Council Live, back at my Black career. I love my nails, by the way. Shout out to my nail technician. She did her big one. Y'all loved these rose gold chrome nails, and I love them too. These were fabulous. So I just want to thank you all, so much for the love and the flowers and all the good vibes. We got each other. We got it. We got us. Us. This time us. Because, listen, that's all I can say. We're going to be very selective this season. But I appreciate you all so much. And thank you all for listening. And we're going to have a great season. A good, what is it? Season 8. Season 8 about to be spicy. Season 8, we getting close to the finale this season. And of course, we come back in January. But, it's going to be a fun season. So, season 7, lucky number 7. What a season. What a period. We're about to be close to 4 years of doing this podcast. And the suspense of it all, the era. We went through the whole entire Biden era on this podcast. And now we're about to go through another iteration of another season in this American saga. So, thank you all so much. Thanks for listening. Thanks for telling more people to listen. Thanks for it all. Appreciate you all. And as always, be well and be best. Ernestly Speaking is recorded in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. To stay up to date with the latest on the show, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Mr. Ernest Owens. Use the hashtag Ernestly Speaking to tell me what you thought about this episode, and check out my website at ernestowens.com.